Are you worried about losing your SNAP benefits? Well, stick around, because in the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly how to complete your SNAP recertification in New Jersey. And we're going to do it with total ease and confidence. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the New Jersey's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, and decoding the exact steps you absolutely need to take to keep those benefits active without any frustrating interruptions. You know, it's completely normal to feel a bit of anxiety when you get that official notice in the mail from the state. The stakes are undeniably high, right? Failing to act on a recertification notice literally means a lapse in crucial nutrition assistance for you and your family. But hey, don't sweat it. The whole goal of this explainer is to replace that anxiety with absolute clarity. By the end of our time together today, you are going to have a complete step-by-step playbook to navigate this entire process. So here's our roadmap for today. First, an intro to recertification. Then we'll talk prep and documents, followed by the specific New Jersey process. After that, we'll cover troubleshooting, some smooth process tips, and finally, our conclusion. Let's jump right in.
Okay, Section 1, Introduction to SNAP and Recertification.
So, as we all know, SNAP is an absolute lifeline that helps folks purchase nutritious food. But to make sure benefits are distributed accurately based on current needs, the state requires periodic case reviews. And this is what we call recertification. Let's bust some bureaucratic jargon right out of the gate, okay? When you get approved for SNAP, you aren't approved indefinitely. You're approved for what's called a certification period. In New Jersey, most people are certified for either 12 or 24 months. The core rule to remember here is that your benefits absolutely will not continue beyond this specific time frame without a formal eligibility determination. So recertification isn't just optional, it's a structural, mandatory part of the program.
Now, before we move on, I really want to clarify one quick point of confusion that pops up all the time. You might also hear about an interim reporting form, or IRF. This is a shorter form that you've got to complete exactly halfway through your certification period to report any major changes and keep your benefits flowing. It's super important to know the difference here. The IRF is just a quick check-in at the halfway mark, whereas the full recertification we're talking about today happens at the very end of your 12 or 24-month period.
Moving right along to Section 2, Preparing for Recertification.
Honestly, the absolute best way to make your recertification completely effortless is to gather up your toolkit before you even open the application. Think of it like a recipe. You want all your ingredients out first. So here's your checklist. You're going to need a valid ID like a driver's license or passport. You absolutely must have proof of income or wages, so grab those recent pay stubs. You'll need proof of residency, like a lease agreement or utility bill, though keep in mind there are exceptions if you're currently experiencing homelessness. You'll also need Social Security numbers for each person applying for benefits, and if anyone in the household is 60 or older or has a disability, make sure to gather proof of medical expenses. Oh, and one vital detail to remember. Proof of citizenship or immigration status is only required for the specific individuals actually applying for benefits, not necessarily for every single member of the household. Now, looking at that list of documents might make you feel a little overwhelmed. If it does, just take a deep breath. Official SNAP regulations explicitly state that if you have difficulty obtaining or submitting these verification documents, your local county social services agency can, and literally will, assist you in getting the information needed to determine your eligibility. It is a built-in safety net. You do not have to figure this whole shebang out alone.
All right, Section 3, the recertification process in New Jersey.
Okay, so you've got your documents organized. Let's look at the actual action plan. Let's visually anchor these critical deadlines so they really stick in your memory. Exactly 2 months before your certification period expires, the state is going to mail you a letter letting you know it's time to recertify. If they don't hear from you, well, you're generally going to receive a warning notice around the 30 days prior. And then later on in the process, once you actually complete your mandatory interview, you must be given at least 10 days to submit any final verification documents before your benefits end. Honestly, jot these timelines down. They are the absolute key to keeping your case active. So, when you receive that notice, you've got options. New Jersey permits several different channels for submitting your recertification. You can do it digitally through the mynjhelps.gov portal. You can use traditional postal mail. You can just drop it off in person at your County Board of Social Services. Or, and this is a fantastic mechanism the state extended to reduce barriers, you can use a telephonic signature. That means you can actually complete the process right over the phone with a verbal confirmation recorded by your caseworker. Really, just choose the method that's easiest and most accessible for you.
If you do go the digital route, the mynjhelps.gov portal is designed to be pretty user-friendly. The steps are incredibly straightforward. First, you just log in with your credentials. Second, navigate to your dashboard and locate that recertification application. Third, fill out the required fields, your income, expenses, any household changes. Fourth, review your information and attach your digital documents. And finally, hit submit. You'll get a confirmation message, which acts as a great receipt for your files.
But definitely watch out for this common trap. When you're uploading your verification documents, like those pay stubs or utility bills, directly through the online portal, your files absolutely must conform to the platform's strict technical parameters. So pay really close attention to file size limits and accepted formats, like PDFs or JPEGs. Seriously, you do not want a system-generated error to delay your application simply because a photo of your ID was a few megabytes too large to upload. Once you submit your application, you're going to need to attend a recertification interview. Now, I know this step often makes people a bit nervous, but it really shouldn't. It's usually just a quick 10 to 30-minute phone call. The entire purpose of this interview is simply to verify that the information you shared in your application is accurate and to check if your household circumstances have changed significantly. It's just a routine confirmation, nothing to stress over.
Next up, Section 4, Troubleshooting Common Issues.
Look, even with the best preparation, life happens, right? The most common fear folks have is missing the deadline entirely. If you do not complete your SNAP renewal by the deadline, your state will usually stop your benefits at the exact end of your current certification period. Obviously, this is a scary prospect, but don't panic because you still have options. The absolute most critical thing you can do if you miss your deadline is to act immediately. According to our sources at Propel, if you reach out quickly after your certification ends, you might actually be able to complete a late renewal, or even reinstate your benefits without having to reapply from the very beginning all over again. You'll want to call your local office right away and ask if a late renewal is possible. And hey, if your recertification is outright denied, remember that you have the right to appeal that decision. For immediate assistance, always check nj.gov/human services to find the direct hotline to your specific county board of social services. All right, Section 5, Tips for Ensuring a Smooth Process. Let's run through some pro tips to make this a breeze. First, read your application carefully. Seriously, simple mistakes like a tiny typo in your social security number hold up processing more than anything else. Second, literally jot down your key dates on a physical calendar. When your notice arrived, when your interview is, and that final 10-day document window. Third, proactively track your application status on the mynjhelps portal so you're never in the dark. And finally, keep all your paperwork organized in one dedicated folder so you aren't scrambling around the house when that interview call comes in. And finally, Section 6, Conclusion and Final Thoughts. If you take only one single thing away from this explainer today, let it be this. Timely action is your absolute best defense against a lapse in SNAP benefits. Respond to those notices the very week you get them. Gather your documents using the checklist we talked about earlier, and always remember that the County Social Services Agency is legally obligated to help you if you get stuck. You've got the tools and you've got the knowledge to complete this with total confidence. We've covered a ton of ground today, but of course, everyone's situation is unique. So what questions do you have about your specific SNAP case or the New Jersey recertification process? Real quick, before we go, an official disclaimer. The information provided in this explainer is based on current New Jersey SNAP guidelines. Because procedures and requirements can and do change over time, it's always essential to verify details with official state resources, like nj.gov, or by reaching out directly to a SNAP representative for the most accurate and updated info. Now, I'm turning it over to you. What is the single biggest roadblock you've faced with your SNAP case, and how can we help you overcome it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for learning with us today, and we'll see you in the next explainer.